The PlayStation Portal is the latest hot piece of tech to hit the market, an exclusively remote play device from Sony for the PS5, resembling a DualSense controller cut in half with an Android tablet squeezed in between. But here's the thing, it's not really a portable console like the PSP or the Vita is, it only supports remote play. So it's a dumb terminal, and it only works with the PS5. And yet, it's sold out on their site, and already the scalpers are out in force trying to pawn them off for well over their RRP. Oh great. So besides using my phone, tablet or laptop, how am I supposed to play my PS5 away from the telly? Well, hello fellow gamers, and what if I was to tell you, there's another option. Handheld PCs like the Steam Deck and the ROG Ally are extremely versatile pieces of kit. They may have been designed with one specific task in mind, in the Steam Deck's case, playing games from your Steam library, but they are essentially computers, so you can easily install new software on them to expand their capabilities. Very much like your phone, tablet, laptop, Mac or PC, you only need to install the necessary software in order to use PlayStation's Remote Play service. In those cases, it's done by simply installing Sony's official Remote Play app. The thing is, the Steam Deck isn't one of those supported devices. Sony's Remote Play app ain't going to work on this. So how the devil does it do it? Well, this was possible all thanks to an open source Remote Play client called Cherokee for Deck. It's readily available to install through the Steam Deck's Discover Store, and it has been for some time now. While it wasn't as easy to set up as Sony's official software, once I finally got it up and running, it wasn't long until I was streaming my beautiful PS5 games to my portable 7-inch screen device. And it's been a surprisingly good experience. It works extremely well over 5G Wi-Fi within my home. 99% of the time the picture is smooth and clear without any serious artifacts, and input lag feels like it comes in at only a few milliseconds. So if you've been considering a Portal but you've already got a Steam Deck or similar device, wouldn't it be worth saving 200 quid and just using that instead? Well, I'll tell you what my thoughts were on how this went. The first thing I noticed when the PS5's picture started coming through was the aspect ratio. The PS5's 16:9 picture leaves black bars on the top and bottom of the Steam Deck's 16:10 screen. This doesn't bother me, to be honest, but if you don't like it, Cherokee offers a couple of different options for filling the screen, either stretching the image to fit or simply zooming in a little bit, both simply by using one of the triggers on the back of the device. The next thing I noticed was the overall video quality. Of course, it's not going to be as good as the native PS5 picture. If you were to peer and scrutinise, there is occasional banding that can be seen along gradients, though this is because of Remote Play's compression rather than the Steam Deck or the software. Reports say you'll even get this with the Portal as well. I was honestly expecting this to be a blurry, laggy mess, but in general, when simply using it in most places in my home, I barely noticed some of the imperfections. The picture was coming through pretty clear, with a lag that wasn't wholly unacceptable. I think it's worth mentioning at this point that both my PS5 and Steam Deck are connected to my network via 5G Wi-Fi. Yes, I know, using Ethernet would be better, but taking all that into account, it's actually rather impressive. However, I think this might be, in part, down to the Steam Deck's physical specs. The PlayStation Portal has an 8-inch 1080p display, so it will naturally be aiming for full 1080p at 60 FPS, the most demanding of all the streaming options that Remote Play has to offer. Anything less, and that picture ain't going to look as impressive. The Steam Deck, however, only has a 7-inch 800p display. Since its default resolution is slightly lower, I can easily get away with sticking with 720p at 60 FPS, which is set in Cherokee by default, rather than having to push full HD all the time. As this takes less effort from the PS5 itself, as well as using less bandwidth, the picture I get should be clear and stable for more of the time, whilst helping to keep input lag down. And with the Steam Deck, I'm not strictly stuck with handheld play either. I can just hook it up to a TV or monitor using its dock, where there's nothing stopping me from going for the full 1080p experience. As far as I know, you can't connect the PlayStation Portal to an external display. It's purely a portable device. I did sometimes find it confusing seeing A, B, X, Y as my main buttons, rather than cross, circle, square or triangle, and of course I am losing out on the adaptive triggers that the Portal offers, although both issues can be resolved simply by hooking up an actual DualSense. There is one thing I think the Steam Deck does well, and that's how it deals with the DualSense's touchpad natively. On the Portal, portions of the touchscreen become the touchpad, letting you tap or swipe from either side to interact with it. According to reviews that I've watched so far though, these are apparently quite difficult to work with. On the Steam Deck, the right trackpad becomes the DualSense's touchpad. While it is a touch smaller, no pun intended, than the one found on Sony's official controller, it works all the same, and is within easy reach of your right thumb. Oh, and if anyone was wondering, the left trackpad became the PlayStation button, so I was able to access the control center at any time. One last thing worth mentioning is the auditory experience, particularly with wireless headphones. While both the Portal and Steam Deck sport 3.5mm headphone jacks for wired headphones, when it comes to wireless, the Portal only supports Sony's proprietary headphones. The Steam Deck, however, was very happy to connect to my Bose 700 Bluetooth headphones. While the audio still lags a teeny tiny bit behind the visual action, I can at least say with certainty that it's a damn sight better than what the Switch offers when it comes to auditory performance over Bluetooth. I suppose the best test really is to try using Remote Play when away from the house, away from the confines of my own controlled home network. How does the Steam Deck cope with that situation? Well, in order to find out, I ventured out into Manchester city centre to try using the Steam Deck to remote play my PS5 several miles away from the comforts of a local pub. When I got into the city centre though, this was where the performance started trailing off. While I was able to play perfectly fine in Pixel Bar and Thomas Street, less could be said about the experience at Piccadilly Tavern, only a few blocks away. And the less said about 5G on mobile, the better. Though, to be fair, this is not necessarily the fault of the Steam Deck, the Cherokee software, Sony's Remote Play service, or even the locales themselves. It boils down to the UK's internet infrastructure. It simply isn't up to snuff yet to support something like Remote Play reliably in many places. Either the internet in an area is terribly slow, or it's clogged up with too many people, making it all the more difficult to maintain a stable connection. With my two examples, we're seeing two different extremes here. Pixel Bar have paid through their nose to have a cracking internet connection to support all the consoles and arcades and stuff they have. The Remote Play experience here was very much like it was back in my own living room. Well, except I wasn't cooking the pizza. Whereas Piccadilly Tavern's internet is being provided by an O2 Wi-Fi hotspot, one of thousands dotted around the country. While I'm sure it's fine for the odd tweet, the connection was far slower than what Remote Play required. The picture kept breaking up all the time, and the input lag was atrocious. And when it comes to 5G on mobile, well, unless you're on the perfect network in the perfect place in the country, you're not always going to have the bandwidth to support Remote Play reliably. The point I'm making is that a dedicated Remote Play device doesn't make all that much sense in the UK right now. It makes a lot more sense to makeshift an existing device to do that instead, for the times that you can use it. It doesn't have to be a Steam Deck, of course. It could be your mobile phone or a tablet or laptop, just whatever you have. At least that way, you'll have saved yourself a couple of £100. Though there are plenty of options for using Sony's Remote Play service, the Steam Deck is a damn good one, all things considered. Granted, it does require a little focus to set up initially, and you need to open the right ports in your router to make it work away from home, but once it's all set up, you're good to go, and the experience with a good internet connection has been pleasantly surprising. And if you wanted to venture further, you could stream your PS4 or even your Xbox with the right software, all onto the same device. I'm not turning this into a tutorial though, so I'll leave a link to the one I used to set this up down below in the description. Hopefully that'll help all of you with Steam Decks who want to try this out. But with that, I'm going to sign off. But I want to know, have you been using the Remote Play feature on your PS5s? And how's it been? Has it been seamless, or have you had issues regardless of the device you've used? Maybe you've got some tips on how to improve it. Let us all know down below in the comments. And hey, while you're down there, a like for the video is always appreciated, and there's always that subscribe button if you want to hear more from me. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.